The Bear's Muddy Backyard, Year 3 and counting.
Good evening, swamp dwellers. 3 years ago, a very large bear walked into his neighbor's garden, sat down, and said, "This is mine now." His neighbor said no. The neighbor's neighbors said no. The whole swamp said no. The bear is still sitting in the garden. I'm Ailey the alligator, and tonight, we check in on the war that everyone has an opinion about and nobody has a solution for. This is swamp politics. Let's do a quick recap for anyone who just joined the swamp. Uncle Vlady, big bear, big colony, very fragile ego, decided that Sunflower Colony next door was getting too friendly with the Western colonies. Too many trade deals. Too much talk about joining the big Western Defense Club. Too many penguins there flying a flag that wasn't his. So in February 2022, Uncle Vlady did what insecure, powerful creatures have done throughout history. He invaded. He told everyone it would take 3 days. It has been over 3 years. 3 years. The bear is tired. The garden is destroyed. And somehow, the neighbor is still standing. Now, let's talk about President Z of Sunflower Colony. This penguin, civilian, former TV comedian, zero military experience, became overnight the most talked about leader on the planet. When the bombs started falling and every powerful colony offered him an exit, President Z looked into the camera and said, "I don't need a ride, I need ammunition." And the swamp collectively stood up and clapped. 3 years later, Z is still there, still in the green sweater, still asking for ammunition, still not getting quite enough of it, still there. Here's the honest picture on the ground right now. Uncle Vlady's forces control roughly 18% of Sunflower Colony. The eastern regions, the industrial heartland, the coal mines, the places that used to produce things, are either occupied, bombed flat, or caught somewhere in between. The front line stretches over 1,000 kilometers. Vlady's strategy has basically become, "We have more bears than you have bullets. We will wait." It's not elegant. It's not smart. It's just large. And frustratingly, it's working, slowly, at enormous cost. But slowly, working. Meanwhile, across the swamp, the old colonies of Europe are having what can only be described as a very long, very expensive panic attack. For decades, these colonies had one security strategy. "Hello, Donald Uncle's colony? Yes. Could you defend us, please? Great. We'll send a fruit basket." That strategy has now officially retired, because Donald Uncle came back to power and said, "You want protection? Everybody's got to pay up. Also, maybe Vlady isn't so bad. He called me. Very nice conversation. Very nice bear." So now Europe is scrambling. Germany is rearming. Poland is building the largest army on the continent. France is talking about sending troops. Everyone is suddenly remembering where they put their defense budgets. Better late than never. Barely. And then there is the peace deal situation. Donald Uncle, freshly returned to power, announced he would end this war in 24 hours. That was several months ago. What has actually happened is a fascinating new game called Everybody Negotiate, but Nobody Agree on Anything. Here's where it stands. Donald Uncle wants a ceasefire. He's been pushing Z hard. Vlady wants to keep the territories he's already taken, permanently. On paper, signed, official. Z says, "Absolutely not. That's our garden." The old colonies of Europe say, "Don't give Vlady anything. It'll only encourage him." Donald Uncle says, "Look, sometimes you give up a little garden. That's okay. Very normal. Happened to lots of colonies." President Z says, "These are our homes." And that's the part that gets lost in the diplomatic noise. Every kilometer on that map is someone's home, someone's town, someone's family. The penguins of Sunflower Colony didn't choose to be a geopolitical chess piece. They just wanted to live in their garden. Oh, and Uncle Xi is watching all of this very carefully. Uncle Xi is not sending weapons. Officially. He is, however, sending machine tools, drone components, microchips, and general industrial goods to Vladyland at record levels. Very industrial, very general. Uncle Xi's calculation is elegant. A war that drains Donald Uncle's colony exhausts Europe, and weakens the Western club, without Uncle Shi firing a single shot, is what strategists call a free lunch. And Uncle Shi loves a free lunch. And while the powerful creatures negotiate, the rest of the swamp is paying for it. Sunflower Colony was one of the world's great breadbaskets. Wheat, corn, sunflower oil, feeding hundreds of millions of penguins across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. That supply chain? Disrupted. Partially blocked. Sometimes bombed. Result? Food prices up, energy prices up, heating bills up, penguin savings down. Penguins in colonies that have nothing to do with this war, in Africa, in South Asia, in Latin America, are going to bed a little hungrier because two large creatures are fighting over a garden on the other side of the planet. That's not a footnote. That's the actual story. So, where does this end? Honestly, nobody knows. And anyone who tells you they know is selling something. What we do know is this. Uncle Vlady bet that the swamp would get tired and look away. The swamp has not looked away. President Z bet that holding on was worth the cost. 3 years in, he's still holding on. The old colonies bet that fish and weapons would be enough. They're discovering that enough is a moving target. And the penguins of Sunflower Colony, the ones actually living this, never had the luxury of making a bet at all. The bear is still in the garden is still fighting back, and the swamp is watching, waiting to see which one runs out of something first. Patience, ammunition, will, or all three. I'm Allie the Alligator, and that's your Thursday. A quick word before you go. Swamp Politics is a satirical animated series created for educational and entertainment purposes only. All characters are fictional representations of real-world figures and events. The Russia-Ukraine war is a real ongoing conflict that has caused immense human suffering, the loss of lives, homes, and futures for millions of real people. We use satire not to trivialize that suffering, but to make complex geopolitics accessible to every penguin in the swamp. If you want to understand more, read, ask questions, stay informed. Because an informed swamp is a better swamp. Good night. And peace, genuinely, to everyone still waiting for it.